Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the O Show podcast, episode 471. It is always Bet on Jack and Zach time here on the podcast, presented by BetOnline.ag. Sign up for that 50% bonus using the promo code capital BLEAV 50 for that 50% bonus. It's finally week 18 of the NFL, where I will complete my masterful, undefeated season against Zach Kelly here on the always Bet on Jack and Zach segment. My co-host Hufflepuff is home safe right now. We are over Zoom today because one of our confidants, Hunk Hu, may have gone down with COVID.
Santa so we're wishing the best for him.
Season, and he gave him the vid. So here we are.
Yes. First show of the new year, and I thought I would get a gift this new year. But I got the opposite of a gift when it comes to BetOnline predictions. So,
per usual, it was predictable.
Oracle.
I'll allow you to go ahead.
Oracle.
I'll allow you to explain it while we play the video of you at the Twin Peaks in Tempe this past weekend, watching Alabama steamroll over the Cincinnati Bearcats, just like I predicted, with a spread over 14.
You got this. I can't lose to Zach again. And captain again. What are you doing? That was the worst play I've ever That was the worst play call I've ever seen.
So, yeah, that was the only thing we disagreed on. So, because they didn't cover, you won college football. And in the NFL, I wish it was that close. The Oracle was 3 of 13, 23%. And King Richard was 8 of 12, 75%, over 3 times better in week 17 of the NFL.
Naturally.
But winners finish strong. And so let's get right into week 18. I'll go with my first pick of the week. I got the Tennessee Titans -10 at the Houston Texans. I am predicting the Titans, win this game, secure the number 1 seed in the AFC. And little sidebar, my predictions may not have been right last week, but my midseason predictions in terms of Mike Vrabel winning Coach of the Year is looking very good now. Just a little side note on that for our audience. Anyway, I do think Titans win, but I do think Texans are a bit feistier, as we've talked about before. They keep covering. So I'm going to go the Texans cover that in a rivalry game. I'm going the over at 42.5.
I'm going to go the under at 42.5. I know it's in Houston. It's in a dome. I agree with you. The Tennessee Titans, I think they are the better football team. No doubt about it. And they need to win. Like they
get that bye.
Week 18. They need to win this game against the Houston Texans team. Like I've said it from the beginning, they could very well play spoiler, and this would be the week 2 play spoiler. But I think the spread, the way Vegas has it and the way BetOnline has it, 10? The 10-point favorites of Titans. I'm going to go with the under at 42. That's the only thing I disagree on, but they definitely cover that spread at 10.
All right, let's pass it on to you now, Mr. Richard.
Right, the spot on picks going for 6-0 the Dallas Cowboys. My Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial in the city of brotherly love, which is a complete lie because Philadelphia sucks. They always have. They spilled beer on an 11-year-old kid. Yes, that 11-year-old kid was me. The Cowboys are the 7.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43 in this game. The Eagles are prone to score a lot at home. It is going to be a January gusty wind type Sunday, or I think Saturday night. Saturday night at 8:15. Oh my God. Good luck to the players out on the field, because they're going to wish they were inside for this one. But the Cowboys are the 7.5-point favorites. Listen, I predicted it wrong last week. I finally got my hopes up a little bit. I'm like, the Cowboys put up 56 against the former Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team. I'm like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I see them beating the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 3-5 in their last 8 games. No surprise, the Cardinals just played a better football game, naturally, at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys fans, don't get your hopes up.
Kyler Murray, 10-0 at AT&T Stadium because all those state.
Another Yeah, I mean, this is like the only one that counts, though. Really, come on, college football. But
High school.
Cowboys fans, don't get your hopes up. This could be another early exit in the postseason this year. But I'm going to cover that spread at 7.5, and I'm going to go the over at 43. Dak Prescott's offense has been way too good, and the Eagles perform pretty well at home. So I'm going the over at 43.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely going with the over in that game, and I definitely think the game is within 7. So I agree on the cover as well. So full agreement on that one. All right.
Your next pick.
All right. So
We don't got a lot of time. All right.
I'm getting there. Calm your horses.
Our audience needs to
the
make
Seattle Seahawks.
BetOnline.ag by using that 50% bonus with the promo code capital BLEAV50. Remember, capital BLEAV50 for that 50% bonus. As you were saying.
The Seattle Seahawks take on the Arizona Cardinals. The Seattle Seahawks are 6.5-point dogs. The over-under of 48. I am predicting that the Seahawks cover. Russell Wilson looks like he's bounced back a little bit too late, but still bounced back a bit. But Cardinals still want that chance if the Niners can get the upset against the Rams to still win the division. So I believe they're gonna come out strong after that Cowboys win, beat Seattle, win that series with them this year. And I'm going but Seattle still makes it close. I think it's a 6-point game, and putting the over at 48.
The over at 48 in this game. I mean, I guess it is in Glendale.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is in Glendale. I still think the Seattle Seahawks are a very good football team when healthy. I think if everyone was healthy this year, Russell Wilson didn't miss those few games mid-season.
Recovering from injury, the others.
I think it would be a different NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the Rams would have steamrolled at the end, and I'm shocked the Cardinals played as poorly as they did in the final stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go the under in this game just to play
Okay.
devil's advocate, because I can't agree with all of your picks, because that would make me a loser. I'm gonna say that the Seahawks definitely cover that spread. It's gonna be a closer game. It's gonna be a high scoring game. I don't think it's gonna be over 48 points.
Okay. All right. Let's hear your number.
I love how
2.
there's like no rebuttal to that. It's just like, yep, totally. I agree. Because you're perfect every damn time, Jack. I get it.
We should calculate what the couple weeks before we started counting were. Let's see how close it actually is.
Yeah, okay. You'll be surprised. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like I pick the Pittsburgh Steelers almost every other week, so I'm going to finish the regular season strong. The Pittsburgh Steelers, after a huge win at Heinz Field against these Baltimore Ravens just a number of weeks ago, all thanks to John Harbaugh. Thank you, Johnny Harbaugh.
Oh, my God.
The Steelers are heading to Baltimore, arguably one of the more threatening and ferocious and intimidating places on the East Coast, Baltimore, Maryland, to take on the Ravens. It's a 5.5-point spread. The Ravens are the favorites. 41.5 is the over-under. I'm going to go the under just because it's cold weather. It's the last game of the season, potentially for both teams, if they don't get their shit together. And the Baltimore, obviously the Ravens need this win way more than the Steelers do, but they're still a good enough football team to upset them. They beat them already once this year. And given that this historic rivalry has gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over the years, I wouldn't be shocked if this Tomlin Harbaugh kind of, again, NFC North rivalry ended within the final field goal of this game. So I don't even know if they cover the spread, the Steelers, but I'm going to go the under just because they went under in Pittsburgh and the weather's not going to be that much better in Baltimore.
So, yeah, I think they covered. I'm agreeing with the under. I kind of agree. Neither the team controls their destiny. They need help in order to make it to the playoffs, to get that 7th seed out in the AFC, but they both are still alive. They both still have a chance. So both teams, and like you said, it's a big rivalry game. So, and most of these teams, their defenses have been the thing that's been way more consistent for them. So I feel very confident in the under. And like I said, I think it'll be close. So I'm going to go with cover on that one.
Yep, that makes sense.
All right.
Final pick.
Pick.
So I can debunk it and everybody can agree.
So this is a doozy. I mentioned the Cardinals having a chance to win the NFC West earlier if the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers, as 3.5-point dogs in SoFi Stadium, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I am predicting that the San Francisco 49ers don't just cover, but they win. Kyle Shanahan has won his last 5 straight against Sean McVay. I'm predicting the Niners will just cover. They win. I'm going the under at 44, and that means my Arizona Cardinals, despite that 3-game losing streak, take the division right back and win the division of the last week, thanks to some help from the San Francisco 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan is going to show Sean McVay what for, and Matthew Stafford is going to lay a goose egg in important games like he always does.
Well, but at least you gave your fan base one last laugh before we wrap up the regular season for our NFL picks. That's hilarious. That's really,
Wow.
I mean, they're going to be playing their backups. I get it. But they're not going to win.
No, the Rams are going to be playing their backups. They still want to win the division. They're not going to be playing backups.
No, you're even more stupid than I thought.
Yeah, Rams have to win in order to clinch the division.
Yeah, well, the Rams are the 4-point favorite, which is shocking to me, especially at home. Over under 44.5. I'm going the over at 44.5 because they have to win the division and they're going out with a bang. They are going to put their foots on the San Francisco 49ers' necks, and they're not going to let go. They are going to keep their foot on the gas from quarter one.
And the Niners don't cover either? Is that what you're saying?
Not even close. Not even close.
It's going to be so great that this is the game that gives me my first victory. Thank you, Jack. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
I can't wait to play this in next week's clip when it's all black and white and I get to play the
No, it's going to be you. We'll see. One of us is going to be black and white with that sad trombone sound, but let's hear your last game before we go into our halftime.
All right, my last game is a game that seems to really trump the Patriots every year. I feel like it's the final week of the regular season.
Yep.
They're traveling to Miami on the Dolphins. It doesn't matter if they were 0-15. Doesn't matter if they were like 4-11. Doesn't matter if they were 8-7. The Dolphins always find a way to upset the Patriots at home in the final stretch of the season. They seem to do it with almost everybody, but I think it's a known fact at this point that Bill Belichick just loses at least once to Miami, especially out in Miami. For whatever reason, it's just been
their Hard Rock Stadium.
It's been their kryptonite. So I think let me check the spread in this game for Mac Jones's final regular season.
6.5
favorites. Over under 40. I'll take the under at 40. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. And I think that the Patriots, once again, in the final game of the season, here's my upset: the Miami Dolphins will not only cover, but they will win, as Zachary Kelly would say.
Wow. So that's your attempt at giving everyone a laugh at the end of the season. All your fans a laugh. Wow. Thank you for the free week. Thank you for having mercy after beating me 5 times in a row to give me a free win. The Dolphins, they were on that 7-game win streak, but then, needed to win to stay in. They got trounced 34-3 last week by the Titans, eliminated from playoff contention. So there's just no juice left in that locker room. Miami already got a win earlier this year against the Patriots. There's nothing really to prove. The Patriots need to win in order to keep their chances of winning the division alive. They still need some help from Buffalo in order for that to happen. They still have a chance at winning the division. So I'm going the complete opposite. I think the Patriots win by at least 7. The Dolphins do not cover that spread. I'm going the over at 40. That's such a low. Maybe if it was like 40, 48, 49, go the under, but at 40, I'm absolutely going the over. So thank you again for a free one. I understand you got 5 in a row, but thank you for just
losing is inevitable. It's like hitting on a hula hoop. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
No, it'll stop. Wait till the NBA season. Wait till the NBA season. You got me in the NFL.
And going and going and going.
NBA playoffs are only 2.
Stupid son of a bitch. Stupid son of a bitch. Stupid son of a bitch. What were you saying?
Just wait till the NBA playoffs. Anyway, that's all we have for our final regular season NFL week and NFL picks, which means it is time for the Michael Cera halftime report.
Cue that Michael Cera halftime report graphic, Hank. But before we do that, Zach, I do want to give a special shout out to On the Rocks Productions and The Now out in Scottsdale, Arizona. So The Now, you can head on over to www.thenowmassage.com. The Now, obviously a big place out in Scottsdale, Arizona. 2 days of fun and festivities coming up. The event giveaway has entries that end on January 19th. You may sign up online or stop by between 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. So you actually got a wide window here. And after 4 p.m., shop trunk shows with special discounts from the Now and our partners. Each partner will notify winners by the end of the week, and promotions may not be combined with any other offer. And again, that you can head on over to the website, www.thenowmassage.com. They are located at 15435 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 150 in Scottsdale, Arizona, or you could call them at 480-618-5788. Again, the Now Massage in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And with that, let's get right into it. So we got a fun one after a couple, decent, just little fun ones. I got one that I thought was pretty great. So 2006, for everyone, this is 1 year. This is after Arrested Development, the original run of Arrested Development, but 1 year before Superbad came out. Our beloved Michael Cera with his friend Clark Duke released a bunch of comedy shorts online. I believe it was on YouTube and MySpace at the time, if I have my information correct, like just on like regular platforms that he filmed with his buddy over the summer after Arrested Development got canceled and Judd Apatow hadn't finished the script yet for Superbad, so he wasn't filming yet. So he was just looking for something, to do to pass the time, to keep, his acting juices, his comedic juices flowing. And ironically enough, and this is motivation to all of you out here that's just like, oh, how do I make it? How do I, get discovered? Just post whatever you want online, because our beloved Michael Cera, who, like I said, all he had really been in significantly before was at the time failed TV show and Arrested Development. CBS the very next year, 2007, bought the rights to all of those specials he posted online with his friend Clark Duke and aired them on national broadcast primetime hours. So really cool to see. I think especially the new year, it was a really fun fact to show, hey, just put yourself out there. You never know what's going to happen. And that's our inspiration from our dear beloved Michael Cera. And that was our Michael Cera halftime report.
You out that Michael Cera halftime graphic, Hank. Yeah, that was a great way to start the new year fresh with Michael Cera. My goal by the end of 2022 is to have him on this segment.
I hope so.
I cannot wait to have him on so we could play that quote in black and white at the end of 2022.
That I agree. So college football, there's only
one great thought to a great revelation, Zach.
There's only one game left, and that is the Georgia Bulldogs.
Whoa. We're not going to recap last week. Are we just going to sweep that under the rug?
Okay, you go. I refuse to do it.
Video of you at Twin Peaks in Tempe, Arizona one more time.
We're playing it twice?
The Alabama Roll Tide took it to the Cincinnati Bearcats. They didn't just take it. They took them and they sled them across the field and merely murdered and slaughtered those Bearcats.
You got this. I can't lose to that again. Dan captain again. What are you doing? That was the worst play I've ever That was the worst play call I've ever seen.
They murdered him. It wasn't even close.
Hey, we were both dead wrong about our boy Jim in Michigan. He got run over.
What's the word? They euthanized the Bearcats.
Oh my God. Anyway, so now it is time for an SEC championship rematch in the national championship game. The Georgia Bulldogs -2.5 point favorites against Nick Saban's Alabama Roll Tide with an over of 50 with a over under of 52.5. I'll let you say what you think on those first. Actually, on this one, I'll let you go first.
It's interesting. It's a rematch. I believe the last time they played each other in the championship game, it was Tua's season. And
No, it's this year. It's an SEC championship rematch from this year. That's how Alabama got in. They played in the SEC
but they
championship
played
game.
each other in the national championship a few years back.
Oh,
Like,
yes. If that's what you're referring to. Yep, that was 2 this year. Yep.
And like
correct.
Alabama, like literally on the last drive of the game.
Yeah, that was when because it was Jalen Hurts that was playing and they were losing the whole time, and then that's when Tua got subbed in, and they believe the 3 minutes left in the third quarter, if I'm remembering correctly, and then won the game for Alabama. But you're correct, that is the last time these two teams. So not that long ago that these two teams met in the national championship.
So obviously, two different programs at this point. Obviously, have the same success, but two different programs going at it. Rematch of the SEC championship. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I really don't really have a dog in this fight. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people may imagine. I think it's going to be close, and I think people probably could imagine that. I think it's going to be a lot lower scoring than people think it's going to be.
Okay.
I don't know what's the over under?
52.5.
52.5. I'm going to go. I might be out on a limb here in saying this, but I'm going to predict under 35 points combined.
Wow. Total.
Yeah.
Wow. And then do you think that Alabama covers that 2.5? Do you think Alabama loses by no more than 2?
That's funny how they again are the underdogs and all.
Yeah,
this.
it's interesting.
I find it very interesting. Alabama's not only going to cover, but they're going to win.
All right. So I guess this is another time where I guess I didn't have a dog in the fight either, but now we're gonna have to watch this game together again because I'm predicting Alabama not to cover. I think Alabama, it's a close, but at that tight of a spread, I think Georgia wins by at least 3. I'm going the over at 52.5. So looks like, another opportunity between some of the disagreements we have. We'll definitely no chance of a tie. There will be a clear winner in the NFL and college football.
Yeah, we picked a lot of out of limb calls this week.
Yeah. Well, it'd be amazing if
we may have fallen off the edge, but we'll find out.
We will find out. So that is college football. And for our final segment of this episode, I wanted to do a bit of a review of last year. And so a lot of people are calling 2021 in terms of sports the year of the mental health for the athlete. I kind of want to just run down each of the big incidents involving athletes coming out with mental health and give our thoughts on that situation in terms of how we feel about it and how it compares to the rest. So the big one, the one that started the year, was Naomi Osaka. At first, initially not wanting to do any press after, winning different open events and, competing in the Grand Slam. And eventually, after criticizing for it, and people were saying, oh, if you're not going to do the media event, then don't participate. Then you should, if you're too anxious to do media, you shouldn't play. And she eventually did. I can't believe it was I want to say it was the US Open. I could be wrong. She did ended up skipping out on one of the Grand Slam tournaments this year due to her anxiety. And so that was the first one this year. I have mixed feelings about that one. I definitely support the fact that she stuck to her guns, that she was just like, I'm not feeling well, so I'm not going to participate. When it comes to not answering media questions, I get the media can be really unfair, unbiased, but I kind of am on the Marshawn Lynch train. Like if the media either annoys you or makes you too anxious, kind of just do the Marshawn Lynch thing. I'm here so I don't get fined type of thing. But, I still think she's a great athlete. I still respect her for, taking her mental health and showing that as a priority. I'm curious your thoughts on Naomi Osaka, our first member of the, Mental Health 2021 club.
I mean, there should be no backlash on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's surprising there was.
This should be, I don't think celebrated is the right word, but it should be respected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's
for people that come out with that stuff. And it's tough. We see it with social media influencers, maybe more so than you. You don't really have a ton of social media. You're not on your phone all the time, posting stuff and stuff. But you see people that use there's mental health coaches, which is great. There's authors, there's doctors, there's professors, there's philosophers. That's great. They've done their homework. They're verified. They're professional people who have studied this material. But then there's kids our age trying to play it off. There's these social media mental health influencers where they're just using mental health as a crutch. And that's where it kind of all gets intertwined, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if they're being authentic or if they're just using it to get likes and views and subscribers and just to grow their brands. So it's a double-edged sword, but I think obviously with her, I know Dak Prescott came out. I don't know
Yes,
if
that's
this year or last year when Skip Bayless went out on him, calling him soft for
that technically was this year. That was end of July. That was right when the previews for Hard Knocks were coming out because basically that came out on one of the Hard Knocks trailers. So yes, that was this year. That was about almost 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody could look at that and be like, oh man, like I can see people being like they're just doing it for the publicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which again, there's that double-edged sword. But these people have nothing to gain from coming out.
Yeah.
They're already superstars.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, they're trying to help the people that do struggle with it on a much lower level.
Absolutely. So yeah, so the second person on the list, the second female, last female athlete we'll talk about on this one. The next one that happened in the year was at the Olympics. Simone Biles, probably the greatest gymnast of all time, choosing I think it's twisties is what I believe the term is, when like you're anxious and you can no longer control your body and you like can seriously injure yourself in that state. And she chose to not participate in the games. I believe she ended up participating in the team event, and I think one of the last events, and ended up getting a bronze medal at the end, which I remember she skipped out on some of the team competition, stuff like that. But I kind of feel almost like just as much as the way I do about the Naomi Osaka, and especially in a sport that can be as dangerous as gymnastics. And she's already done so much for her country that he's like, oh, like when some people like Doug Gottlieb were just like, oh, this is, you should be honored to have this opportunity. She's already has so many gold medals. She's already shown America so much things. So I don't think because this is so much similar to Naomi Osaka's, I don't want to spend too much time on it. So I'll pass it to you. But I also thought this one, I was surprised there was any controversy around this one.
Again, like there shouldn't have been any, especially in her line of work. The thing that she does as a gymnast, like that is pressure. That is like the epicenter of pressure. That's for all those eyes on you. Millions are watching around the world. Like just like an inch off, and you could ruin everything. You could hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got three left. We'll sort of speed run through the first two. This one probably will be short. Calvin Ridley choosing to not play for the Atlanta Falcons this year to focus on his mental health. And like I said, these first three are all very similar. The two that I think deserve some of the controversy will be next. So I don't have much to say on this one. The one thing that just kind of annoyed me more is I felt like he got less sympathy than Naomi and Simone did. And I couldn't, because football is considered a tougher sport or whatever. I don't know why, but it was I'm kind of like with Calvin Ridley. It's like he it's not like he quit mid-season. Like even before OTA started, like right before OTA started, Calvin Ridley announced, guys, I just got to take a year. I can't do it. He let the team know, like it's one thing if you do this like halfway through the season and your team was really, and they cut people and they built their roster assuming you were going to be on it, but doing it, I believe it was either right when OTA started or right when training camp started. I didn't have a problem with this one.
No. And again, like just think if you took 6 to 12 months off for yourself to find yourself, like you're going to come back probably the best version of yourself that you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
You're in the mindset of like, I have to focus on this. And if you're going to prioritize that and prioritize your time to you, your family, his wife, his kids, whatever situation he's in, like you're going to be better for it, which at the end of the day is going to make everybody better. Again, it's going to take 6 to 12 months, but he's going to be better. Like I don't understand, like people, especially fans, people on Twitter, they just jump to conclusions, like they don't look at it from his perspective.
Absolutely. And now we're getting to the two, this, especially the one after this one that I think even though I don't necessarily agree with all of it, I can understand the controversy. First one is Ben Simmons. So taking back to last year's playoff, Ben Simmons did not shoot a single jump shot in the fourth quarter in 4 straight games as the Philadelphia 76ers got, frankly, very, very much upset by the Atlanta Hawks in last year's playoff. And the coach, both the coach and Joel Embiid sort of gave faint-hearted like endorsements of him afterwards, after he, wasn't even taking shots. It wasn't like he was missing, he just wasn't even refusing to take shots. And, then come this thing, he refuses to come to training camp and he's holding out. He's demanding a trade and everything. He's holding his ground. He eventually comes, but doesn't participate. It's clear he's just phoning it in, like he's on his phone. And then he's doing that. And then it comes out, he's just like, hey, I want to come back. I'm sorry and stuff like that, but I'm just dealing with like this huge issue, and that's why I'm not shooting all of this stuff. And this is one where I definitely do believe the fact that he's refusing to shoot clearly is a mental block. There clearly is some anxiety there, because this wasn't really a problem when he was at LSU. It wasn't a problem when he was attending high school in Australia. So it didn't happen until he was drafted and that injury his rookie year. So I get that. This is the one where it's like, you've had multiple years in the NBA. You could have mentioned this before you signed a long-term contract with them. This is something that I feel should have been communicated more prior and stuff like that. It's something where I definitely understand it. I just feel like this is, and that's why I think it's important that the other athletes we mentioned previously are speaking up, because it'll encourage other ones to speak up sooner. But I think you do put a lot of burden on a team when, you don't mention any of these things until your fifth year in the NBA. I think on a team, I think that makes it really, really hard for them to be fully cooperative and understand of your issue when you weren't communicative for that long. But I'm curious what you think.
I agree with your points. I do think it's very difficult to argue with him though, because it's like, again, like, how are you going to argue? Like, you're really going to be like, oh wow, what an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
When like half the world would be like, hey man, like, mental health, it's important.
Yeah, and he got crazy.
I think Ben Simmons went from being arguably the top star in the NCAA when he was at LSU to literally being one of the more bigger disappointments coming out of the NBA draft, right? Because he was supposed to be a stud with the 76ers, didn't pan out, and now he's kind of just trying to pick the pieces back up together, right? And it's just not working out in his favor. He had a little run there.
Defense is still great, but
but like, even now,
gotta shoot.
I agree with you. It's a weird time for him to come out with this, but like, obviously, if you put yourself in his shoes, to go from being so successful in college to get to a point where everybody's expecting you to be the next mega NBA star, and it just hasn't panned out, and like, he's gotten a ton of negativity in the press over the past 4 or 5 years since
Philly. You mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm talking about the Eagles. I think the important detail to add in his favor, it is Philadelphia, and Philadelphia fans. We've talked about it before. They are not kind, forgiving fans, and they have not treated him well in the past year. I mean, they were booing him. They were booing him. They were like jeering their own player during that game. And these are the same fans that when Russell Westbrook got injured in that first round of the series, and he was going to the tunnel, they poured a Coke on him, an injured player walking out of the tunnel. So I do understand Ben Simmons is definitely in Philadelphia, not in a super their environment, but I think that is a good lesson about how it is important to communicate mental health earlier. So finally, the last one in this last segment of our last show is definitely the one that is going to be by far the most controversial and will probably mostly lean. It happened just last week, right before my New York Jets blew yet another double-digit lead to Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. While they were leading, I think 2 minutes into the third quarter, Antonio Brown threw off his jersey and pads, took off his shirt, threw his gloves in the stands, waved at the audience, and just left the team at halftime. And Bruce Arians has made it official. He is no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. This is not the first time Antonio Brown's had an incident. He lied about his vaccination earlier this year with that. He filmed when he was in he got in trouble getting in fights with teammates in both New England and in Oakland. Back when he was a Steeler, he was doing Facebook Live while in the locker room where not everyone was fully clothed, when Mike Tomlin was trying to give a speech that he was not aware was being recorded. So this is not his first incident. He's been, a lot of these stories came out because he refused to pay people like his personal chef or things like that. But it is an issue because some people have now brought up, it's like, clearly someone that's done this much needs help, because like they're not, not all there. And I think this is the other side of mental health, and this is the obviously we've been like being there for people with the past 4 ones, but I think this is now the point where it's just like sometimes giving people help is stop enabling them, stop giving them chances, be like, hey, we want to help you, but we need to put you in a scenario where you like take back. We're not going to give you like let you just go about like things normally. You need to seriously come back. The fact that people like kept giving him contracts, kept giving him chances on these teams because he's arguably one of the 15 greatest receivers of all time, if not top 10, and he's still so talented. So teams want to take a chance on him. But I think it's important to realize that when there's so much erratic behavior going on, sometimes it's just like, let's focus on that first. We can't give you anything else. We focus on that first. So I completely understand all the teams that have cut him and everything. And I do understand that clearly someone that's acting this erratic has some issues up here, but I think that you have to stop enabling him. I think he needs a break from me. I don't know. He'll probably get a second chance in the NFL, but if I were a GM or if I was like someone who cares as much about him as like Tom Brady cares about him, let him sleep in his home. I would say you need to be away from football. You need to fix things up here before you come back. Clearly you can't do both at the same time. So
he's one of the best wide receivers in the game. And he thinks he could just get away with it. This is the second time he's been cut from one of Tom Brady's rosters.
Yes.
Once with the Patriots, now with the Buccaneers. This one more evident than the first one. This one was just deserved. As far as I'm concerned, like you don't do that to your team, let alone yourself. Like, if you have any respect for yourself, you don't do that shit like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like that old Jerry Maguire quote, like, help me, help you.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Help me, help you. And I agree with you. I think I don't know if he needs a break from football. He's going to get it one way or another. I'm looking at him right now. Even given his talents, he's had so many what's the word?
Outbursts.
Yeah. He's not all there mentally. I'd love to get inside his brain just to see what the hell's going on in there. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Like, why do that?
Yeah. And it's not clear. Like some people were saying it's like incentives and that he was benched for, but then there's conflicting reports saying like he didn't want to play at one point, but then he was fighting through injury, and then they did want to put him in and stuff like that. So
like that even if it was that, like that shouldn't matter. Like if you truly care about your team, like you should be a team player.
And that should be handled in the locker room. If you do
have a problem, it doesn't matter your status. It doesn't matter if you're, the best player on the roster, the worst player on the roster. It doesn't matter if you feel like you deserve the playing time. It doesn't matter if you're Antonio Brown or like Kevin Ogletree back in the day. Whoever the hell you are, like you should be team first above anything else. And any great leader, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings. I'm shocked Brady's given him chance after chance, honestly. Mm-hmm. At this point, he probably had a conversation with him like, fuck you.
It's because it's interesting because like Tom Brady's press conference still says, I really care for, and hope AB gets the help he needs. So it's interesting. It's kind of a shame. There's a lot of different reasons why athletes with great potential squander their careers, whether it's not staying in shape, whether it's drugs or other issues. And I like we talked about, like, I think if he had been able to stay out of trouble and keep up the production he had in Pittsburgh for a couple more years, he could have been a top 5 receiver of all time. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that, but it is quite a shame. But I do,
like, you look at the statistics, yeah, but the attitude, the behavior.
I mean, you're right. Terrell Owens, it took him, he had to wait 3 years to get in the Hall of Fame, and his antics off the fields were way less significant than Antonio Brown's, and his numbers were better than Antonio Brown's, and he had to wait 3 years before getting into Hall of Fame. So yeah. Absolutely. Just to wrap up this segment before I give it to you to close, I think that's just the biggest takeaway of 2021. Obviously, on what we at least believed, hopefully it is, with the back 9 of the pandemic and people still getting over that. A lot of mental health was still a big issue, but I think it was just real important to show that it doesn't matter who you are. You could be an Olympic athlete, a Hall of Fame basketball or football player. It doesn't matter. Everyone deals with that. So just if you need if you need help, if you're struggling with that, communicate with the people that can help you. And I'm just glad that a lot of athletes that have a lot of power and a lot of influence helped get that message out there this year.
I mean, it's honestly as simple as that. Like if you're feeling that, like turning on yourself, like ask for help, get help. Like there's no shame in asking or getting help,
Mhm.
You honestly, Zach, if they wanted, they can get a massage at the Now in Scottsdale. www.thenowmassage.com. Remember, the address is 15435 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 150 in Scottsdale, Arizona. You can call them at 480-618-5788. Remember their new event coming up, 2 days of fun and festivities on January 19th. Giveaway entries end on January 19th. You may sign up online or stop by between 9:30 a.m. To 7:30 p.m. Again, a wide spread. You got 10 hours to visit the event. And after 4 p.m., shop trunk shows with special discounts from the Now and their partners will be available. Each partner will notify winners by the end of the week. Promotions may not be combined with any other offer. Again, that number is 480-618-5788 at the Now in Scottsdale.
You know what? I actually hope I lose the NFL picks this week. You're too good at your job. You know what?
Yeah, I'm 5-0. We know that already.
I meant the giving clean transition to sponsors. Just wrap the show. I'm done with you.
All right. Again, the show is presented by BetOnline.ag. Sign up for your 50% bonus using the promo code capital BLEAV50. Again, for that 50% bonus, week 18 of the NFL. We're also presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona. I do want to give a special shout out to Star Worldwide Networks as well. Dave Pratt, Star Worldwide Networks in Scottsdale, Arizona. You can call Dave for free consultation as well as use their marketing, media, and social media agency. Head on over to starworldwidenetworks.com. And I know he's got COVID, but he can click the button. Hit the lights, Hank.